Greetings, and salutations, beautiful people in the beautiful world. It is me, he is I am him. Zach Latimer, Z-Lat, Coach Lat, and welcome back to another segment of Right and Exact. Shouts out to our new nation and a shout out to you. You could be doing anything in the world right now, but you are here with me, and I do appreciate that. Today, what we're going to talk about, what we're going to build on is, how do we start to move and build into a healthy relationship or finding a healthy mate? And one of the things that can start to hinder us or hurt us is one starts to run from their past. They don't want to deal with it, and when you don't deal with it, you try to get over it, you try to get under it, but it's right there knocking and sitting on your shoulder saying, hey, you're going to deal with me. But then you try to find a vice, or your old vices are not working, and you pick up a new one and wondering why nothing seems to work, because you got to deal with it. You got to go through it. All right. And the past can be a scary thing, man. It could be something that you don't really want to deal with. But I'm gonna use in that movie, The Lion King. There's a spot which is telling you the Osirian tale. But there's a spot where Rafiki meets Simba, and he meets him at this little water hole. And he's showing him that he has to go back and take his place as king. Well, he didn't want to do it because he was saying how, the past can be so scary. In the past, I don't want to deal with that. And he basically just told him, man, look, the past, either you can run from it or you can learn from it, but the choice is yours. And he took the stick and he hit him in the top of the head, and he was like, hey, man, that hurt. Yes, the past can sometimes hurt, but you got to deal with it. And you can either learn from it. He swung again, he ducked, and she said, there you go. You just learned from it, so what you going to do? I mean, long story short. But so one of the things that people have to do before you can start to move and to get into other relationships or try to grow into other situations, you have to deal with your past. And the first thing that one should do is you got to sit down and have a conversation with the person that helped to cultivate your mind up until this point. And a lot of times that's your parents. And some people don't like to deal with their parents, man. They have this rage against them, and you don't understand. They did me so wrong. But you need to get to know everything that you can possibly know about your parents. Sit down and have a conversation with them. Ask them questions about their childhood. Ask them questions about your grandparents. Ask them questions of how they met their significant other, which may be your stepdad or your stepmother, or so on and so forth. You just ask them everything that there is to know about them. And in this point, you can't go into it with some condemnation or some harshness or a vitriolic rage that you're trying to get off with. I'm the way that I am this way because of you. And you start to bring out that blame thrower, and you just blowing all of that on them. Because at the end of the day and at the beginning of the day, the same way that you're going to start to condemn them is the same way that you're going to condemn yourself. And you have to be gentle with your heart. All right, you got to be gentle with it. So you need to listen to them, listen to understand. Don't listen to respond. Because as soon as you start to get into that, well, no, let me tell you, or let me just jump. You're not really trying to hear a word that people say, and they feel the energy behind that. So sit down and listen. And once you really gain some understanding, it'll start to give you a better insight of yourself, so that now you can start to move forward and make better decisions. And one thing that can help you with this is to seek some solid counsel, to seek a real true teacher. Now, for me, that's a guy by the name of Chief Yuya. When you find a real teacher, when you find a real solid, and I'm not talking about one of these, there's a lot of corny ones out here that's going to basically stroke your ego and tell you everything that you want to hear, tell you everything that the world is a crazy place and it's this and that, but not give you anything to correct your own behavior. Then basically what you could do is you could talk to a little microphone, record your own voice, and then play it back to you so you could just shake your head. But a true teacher is going to strip your ego. A true teacher is going to cut away all that old dead thought that you no longer is serving you a purpose up until this point, so that therefore you can come out a new person. And it's not the easiest thing to do as well, because your ego is going to fight. Your ego wants to sit in the same spot it has been in that, and it's comfortable in the situation. But it's just like in that movie, The Matrix, where Morpheus had took Neo out, and he was like, okay, we're going to jump from this building to the next. And in order for him to jump from the next one building to the next, he had to strip that dead thought that he said he couldn't do this. It was too hard. You don't understand. Well, all of this other stuff. And yes, he failed a few times, but eventually he ended up doing it. Well, see, a real teacher is going to strip you of that dead thought. He's going to take you to a new level, a new height that you've never seen before. But at first, you have to go through it. Okay, you can't get over stuff. You can't go under it. You got to go through it. And when you go through it, you're going to come out a better person on the other side and start to have some more successful, create better relationships. Now, I know what you're saying. A lot of people say the same thing. You know, you don't understand, or I've been through this and I've been through that, and you carry that into your other relationships and you wonder why your relationships don't work. Let me help you with something. Your mate is not required to be your therapist. And a lot of times people go in here and then you use these things like, oh, well, they're emotionally unavailable. It's just not there. You know, how many times have you told them this same story? How many times have you told them that your parents did this, or you didn't have this upbringing and they did this to you, or you didn't have this, like, those are all excuses now that you're making, that you keep unloading on somebody as if they're supposed to keep hearing it, and they don't have their own problems of their own. They are not required to be your therapist. These are things that you have to work out. And you're going to come and you might say, oh, but you don't understand. And these things, there's a lot of trauma that I have to work through. And there's years and years of it. And the reality of it is that you can get through it right now if you wanted to. These are things that you just choose not to. And I know you don't understand. You're going to have a bunch of million excuses of why you can't do the things that you want to do. But I'm just going to leave you with this. Nobody has ever drowned in water by falling in it. They only drown by staying there. You figure that out, and then you'll figure out a whole lot of other issues. These are things that you got to work out, all right? I will that you got something out of this. I will that you have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time right here on Right and Exact. And it's all about making better, bigger, and better relationships moving forward, all right? Like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you next time. Peace.